that just really said stop Asian hate. So I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna have here today, but we know for sure 3 of the speakers are MAGA, but some of the other ones might not be. So it should be really interesting. Yeah, let's go talk to some people.
Okay. Irvine, man. If you've ever been to Irvine, man, it's probably as close to what I think's the city of. How you doing? No, you're here today. Can I talk to you? Is that okay? El Monte. Oh, this is one of my friends from El Monte. Oh my gosh. So.
El Monte Rally, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Claire is here.
Yes, that's us.
Do you have this picture?
Yes, yes.
Talk,
Right?
Yes, that's us. Yeah.
talk to me. Can we talk? We're live right now. Is that okay? Oh, this is. And you can even speak Korean, Chinese. Oh, you can.
You want to say
It's okay.
one message
About we love America.
Yes. Okay.
We love America here.
Yes. Talk to me. Okay. We got a lot of people.
Chinese
All right.
We're American people.
Yes.
Okay.
American, we love our country.
We
We want
identify
America
as
stronger.
American first, but we were born in China. We cannot change that part, but we love this country, and we will dedicate ourselves to this country. And the communist and the socialist is, I say, human beings' enemy, not just for.
Yes. Against all of us.
Yeah, the truth of communist and the socialist is seize the power, control everyone. That's the truth. It has nothing to do with, make any benefits for the people.
No.
They just want to seize the power forever, control it.
So you guys lived under communism.
We came from that then country.
So how hard was it to get to the United States?
They make you silent. They make you disappear.
Very, very hard. It's very hard.
Just check Hong Kong nowadays. All
Oh.
the people, young people, they make them disappear. It's 4 digits, over 1,000 young people. They are innocent students. Don't know where are they. Maybe they no longer in this world. Maybe they in some kind of like camper.
So you're saying in Hong Kong the young people are disappearing. People don't know
No
where they're
attorney,
going.
the family members couldn't find them.
So is the theory that they're being imprisoned?
Oh, they're just
Or
taking them off the street,
Maybe.
taking them away.
Maybe.
We don't know.
You just
We
don't.
don't
people-
Well, they
people
just
don't know.
and are they activists? Are they like no? They're just kids. Anybody, everybody.
Never
Okay, gotcha.
Cannot mention it. Cannot mention it. They arrest one of the the media's boss. Media.
So they're cracking down.
Lai, Mr. Lai, yeah, over 70 years old, a very good gentleman. They arrest him, just target him in order to let him quiet. Don't put all, communist those.
Okay.
I should say it's kind of like it's.
I still want to talk to you. Don't go.
I think all those things is
Okay.
criminals the communists made in Hong Kong, and that they don't want to expose in the sunshine.
So why do you think so many young people in America want communism? What do you think's going on?
We lost our schools.
Oh, it's because of
Through education. Teachers.
From the young
Okay,
age,
gotcha.
Teachers brainwashed.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, this is how it happens.
Because the young people they are greatly misled by the Democratic Party.
Okay.
This is a very dangerous trend to our younger generation. This is definitely dangerous to America's future. So we are very concerned. I feel very, very hurt. Since we came here, we gave up a lot of things in China, came here in order to pursue the righteousness, to pursue the justice, to pursue the equality and the safe environment, the social, the societal environment. But now, I have been living here for 20 years, over 20 years. I just witnessed the declining of this country. It just hurts me. Before years ago, about 10 years ago, I voted for Obama. My husband voted almost, he's a Republican. And I had a big disagreement with him. But as long as I see what's happening, where this country is going, I recognize it's wrong. The Democratic just hurt this country badly, and they mislead the people of this country badly. They are very, very, how to say, tricky.
Yeah, tricky.
Yeah, they are very tricky, and they just play the political game.
And they make communism seem appealing.
Yes.
They make it seem like
exactly. Exactly. That's why we are here to voice our opinion. We want to wake up the people. Communism or socialism is wrong. It doesn't work at all. You look at the Russian, look at China, look at the other country, North
Venezuela.
Korea. Yeah, it doesn't work. Especially, we should see what the country's leader do rather than what they say. You watch since the Biden came to, grab the power. What's going on with this country? It's more dangerous. It's more chaotic. And we since last year, since the last election, the time of November, I have been living in depression, and I watched the fraud. How come, America is a lighthouse of the world? How come the people allow all this happen? We should do something. Even my family in China, I tell you, my brother, he feels so desperate, even though he's not living here, because he pursuing for the righteousness and the justice and the freedom as well. And say, we're losing America as a lighthouse of the world. We're losing our last hope. This is terrible. This is terrible. And also, I just post my words on the Facebook. The pictures, the pictures, they block it.
There we go. Censorship. This is just like China. This place is starting to seem.
I tell you, the fraud is even worse than China.
I'm sure it is.
I cannot believe this happened to this country. This is not the purpose we came here. This is not the reason we gave up all what we have in China and came here. Somebody, and I think it's from us, of course, everybody, every individual, we gotta do something to turn it back.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
We're just angry.
Yes.
We're just living anger. Even my son.
Oh, okay. So there is this lady gave me a note. Do you want me to?
Today. Is that today? Is that today?
Okay, April 30th. April 30th at 11 a.m. There's a rally and a protest. No on 82?
Yeah, no for SB 82.
SB 82. No on SB 82.
What is SB 82?
SB 82, the $980 the misdemeanor is lower the penalty. Nobody
I don't know.
My wife's name is Heidi. Maybe you can write it down. Heidi. VE. It's her channel. We got shut off.
Yes, it's live. Go ahead.
So there is.
Let's go check this out. We'll talk about
SB 82 is Nancy Skinner, the only writer about the standard for the robbery. It is not a robbery. It is under $980 a petty theft. It's not robbery anymore. So that's why so many crime. If you and also depends on what kind of.
Oh, so they're lowering the crime. Okay, so they're going to make.
Tell her your YouTube channel.
All right, so our first speaker that we have today is a 21-year resident, and he's 21 years old as well. John Park, 21-year resident of Irvine, California. He is the OCGOP's first vice chair, chairman of Greater Irvine Republicans, and a friend of mine. John?
Thank you, James. I think he had it right the first time. I like the 21-year-old versus the 21-year resident, right? So, thank you so much, everybody, for coming to our rally. One People, One America rally. And looking out at this audience, it looks much more like America to me. So, thank you so much for coming. You're already part of the solution. And I really appreciate all the organizers here really appreciate you being here. So thank you. All right, so I've got a quick story that I'm going to share with you. Some of you might have heard this story before, so I'm going to tell you a quick story. So this man, businessman, very hard day at work, long day at work, just one of those days, right? So he rides a train home every night after work. So he gets on the train. You know, the train ride's about an hour long. And as he gets on the train, fatigued and really ready to get home, he notices a mom and two little kids on the train. They were the only ones on the train. So he got in, sat down, and he had a bunch of work still that he needed to do at home. So he whipped out his briefcase and started taking out his, work papers and things like that, and started working on this. Train keeps moving, is now moving and headed towards home. So the kids start getting really rambunctious, right? It's just the four of them on the train. They start jumping around on the seats. They're just making a lot of noise. The mother is just sitting there, and she looks like she doesn't care, right? She's just looking straight ahead, doing something else. And the kids are jumping around, jumping from one seat to the other seat. And, he's sitting there naturally getting a little annoyed, right? He's tired, he's had a long day, and this is what I have to put up with for the next hour. And so he is patient, he restrains himself and says, okay, in my mind, if this is fine, this is fine. The kids get more and more rambunctious. And it gets to the point where the kids are jumping around him, and now they're bumping his work papers and hitting up against it and that sort of thing. So he looks down, and he just can't restrain himself anymore, and looks up and says, ma'am, is there any way you can control your children? They shouldn't be behaving like this in public. So the woman, who was just looking stoically ahead, looks up and then says, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize that they were doing this. We're just coming home, on our way home from their dad's funeral. And I guess my mind just wasn't with you on this train. So you can imagine how the man felt at that time, right? And the reason why I tell you this story is very simple. Through the beginning of the story and through almost the end, you heard one narrative. And you got more answers, more of the story towards the end. And what happened in your mind was a complete paradigm shift. You went from one place to the other. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we're here today. We're going to talk about things that you haven't heard before at some of these rallies. And yes, absolutely, we are here to condemn Asian hate, the rise in violence against Asian Americans. We are absolutely here to do that. But we're going to talk about stopping all hate as well. We're going to talk about laws that are too weak in the state, that protects the criminals instead of the victims. We're going to talk about laws that are designed by nature to discriminate against certain races and being perpetuated in the word or in the guidance of the word equity, right? We're going to say radical things like we support law enforcement. And we're going to talk about education system that teaches of lost history. We're going to talk about all these things, these uncomfortable things that haven't been talked about, we're going to talk about today. So really what we're trying to do here today, ladies and gentlemen, is we're trying to tell you the rest of the story, right? So that's why we got together, that's why we're putting this rally together, and ultimately we're calling for unity. This isn't about an Asian thing, we're calling for unity of everyone, of all races that are represented, by the way, in this courtyard. We're calling for unity, and that's again why we're here as well. The road to equality, we believe, the road to equality in the American dream is not paved with equity It is not paid with self-segregation, which is what we're doing now. And it is not paid with more discrimination, right? And yes, of course, again, we need to stop Asian hate, but we also need to say things like, we need to stop all hate. And yes, 100%. The lives of our black brothers and sisters matter. But you know what? We also need to believe that all lives matter in this country. And that's what we're here to talk about as well. So the rally, appropriately named, and by the way, coined by Joy Chen, I don't know where she is, but she coined the phrase. So the rally, appropriately named, and we have amazing speakers lined up for you. So finally, one people, one America. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John, one of my favorite people here in Irvine that actually does things and moves things forward, and that's very important because I think with how this rally is different from the other ones is I've attended and spoke at quite a few other rallies, Stop Asian Hate rallies, and I always came away feeling a little bit, how do you say it, like it was a downer. Because yes, there's a problem and we must address that problem, but we must also talk about solutions. And that's what we're here today to do. And I'm so excited to co-host this with my co-moderator, James Mai. And James, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm James Mai, 20-year resident of Irvine, California here. Like Mark, I've been to many Stop Asian Hate rallies. And it's interesting because the narrative is always told there by one side, and we don't have a voice. So that is why we're here as well. Like John said, all lives matter. Stop all hate, but we need to recognize the hatred toward Asians, but we need to recognize the hatred toward everyone, and I think that's very important. So that's our message here. One people, one America. Let's stop all hate.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that a little bit, okay, about hate in general and racism in general. I think a lot of times with racism, we end up focusing on the symptom rather than the root cause. And I think racism is a symptom. I think hatred is a root cause. I have seen a lot, I've dealt with a lot of racists in my life. And I noticed that a lot of them, and you kind of follow them over the years and you see what they do, that hate that they have for, let's say, a certain race, let's say it's Asian, it's black, whatever it is, always ends up getting translated to others and to themselves. So I think if we start looking at where racism and hatred comes from, which really comes from self-loathing at the end of the day, maybe we can make some progress without continuously complaining about the problem and never finding a solution, right? So I said this is when we start not making assumptions about other people that we don't know, and that takes humility, that takes intellect, then we will eradicate racism. And I certainly would, encourage that message. But the first person I wanted to bring up today, one of my good friends, and we worked with him in the Prop 16 campaign, and he's a great guy, and he provided this generator for us to have this this event today. So we're super thankful to Steve. Just a real team player, a doer, someone who cares about the community. And we don't always agree on political issues, but we're very happy today to have Steve give us his perspective. He is married to an Asian wife, and he has children that look Asian, obviously. So he has a unique perspective, and we really want to hear from him today. So without further ado, Steve Miller.
Thanks, Mark. It's great to be here today and see so many familiar faces from our fight for equality and our great win for equality last year. And I'm really happy to see this, the motto for today being stopping all hate and one people, one America. I think that speaks so much to both the aspirations of America and the answer to the hatred we see sometimes directed against our fellow Americans. It reminds me of the slogan, E pluribus unum. It's on our coins, right? We're a nation of immigrants, and from the many, we become one. So how do we respond to despicable acts of hatred against some other Americans? I think we confront it head on. We don't turn our back, we don't close the door, and we inform the police afterwards. And we prosecute the offenders to the full extent of the law. But I also think we answer attacks like this and hatred by reaffirming what's good in America. Not tearing down the idea of America, but building it up and reaffirming it. It's that idea of America, that pluribus unum, that nation of immigrants out of many to become one. That's how we build a better America where everyone is equal and treated equally regardless of their race. So I think the way you push back against that is you reject contrary ideas, whether that's
this sign right there, fairness and justice, that's exactly why I do everything that I do.
Equity is what you get when you take the all out of equality.
Oh.
I think you also do that by rejecting some on the other side of the
I'm all about fairness and justice. And I'm a believer that if justice is not met here on earth, it'll be doled out at another time for all of us. That's just a requirement.
In Irvine, to see this crowd reaffirming these ideas.
I'm a believer that a lot of this is manufactured hate. This is stuff that's been going on for a long time.
Really appreciate it. And where's James? Where's my co-host? All right, I'm going to bring in the next speaker. Let's bring up. We're so honored to have good elected officials here, and one of them is our very own city councilman, and Anthony Kuo is doing a lot of great things for the city. So we're very happy to have Anthony here. Without further ado, Irvine City Councilman Anthony Kuo.
Good morning. Thank you, Margaret.
Yes, you're from the city of Irvine, right here.
Ceremony and welcome you to Irvine. My family moved here in 1978. And so if I look in the mirror, there weren't a lot of people that looked at us here in 1978. The times have changed, and times have changed, sometimes for the worse and some for the better. But it really is a great community. It's great to have you all here. So I am a strong supporter of public safety. Many of us here are. My friend Assemblyman Stephen Choi is here. He served here on City Council, was a tremendous supporter of public safety during this time. But one of the things that I dread is unexpected calls from the chief of police. Sometimes they come early in the morning, sometimes they come late at night, because they're generally bad news. So he calls me a few weeks ago in the middle of the afternoon and is telling me about an incident that had happened here in Irvine that some of you may have read about. And he said, this man, he walked up to a car, he attacked a woman, I won't go through the details. And it turns out that the suspect is Asian. It turns out that the victim is Asian. But the twist is that the suspect says, well, I thought she was white. Some of you probably haven't heard that story because it doesn't follow a certain narrative. Now, I want to toot my own horn for a second. When the chief of police was calling me with this story, my very first question to him was, is she okay? I didn't say, what race was the suspect? What race was the victim? Where did it? I said, was she okay? And shouldn't that be the thought that goes through all of our minds when something happens to anyone in our family, in our community, in the world? Not who they are, not how it happened, was, are they okay? And what can we do for them? Because we've heard, usually here in February, but we've heard the quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that darkness does not drive out darkness, light does that. And hate doesn't drive out hate, love does that. So if we stop all hate, we're able to come together and be unified. It reminds me of one of my favorite, I want to call it a Reagan quote, but it was a letter that someone had sent to President Reagan.
There's a large population of Asians here in Irvine. if you're not from around here, I think everybody knows Irvine. Irvine's like nice, man. It's a little bit too, it's like a big giant homeowners association. You can only have like 7 colors of 3 shades. But you know, it's clean here, man. I was saying earlier, it kind of reminds me of what I think the country of Singapore is like. This city is spotless. Big, wide, empty roads.
And that's why we're here today. We're here
manicured lawns.
Different places, but we're unified.
So, if you want to talk about a nice place to live, Irvine is definitely it.
Are you okay? And what can we do for you? And that, for me, is how we start. Again, I really appreciate you all being here this morning. I really appreciate you standing up for what you believe in.
I mean, I'm an anti-masker, so the social distancing is kind of like creeping me out a little bit, but, you know.
Thank you all.
But it's okay. It's like we've all been conditioned. Look at that. 6 feet apart, man.
All right, our next speaker is Hong Lee. I'm going to give a little intro to Hong here. I actually ran into Hong last year when we had a incident in Tustin, California here where a man approached a woman and told her to go back to China, blamed her for corona, and he actually physically got out of his car and went after her. I was working with this woman, and Hong, actually I reached out to her, was referred to her. She got the woman to the right people, to the authorities, and also the media, and the story broke to TMZ. Thank you, Hong, for doing that. And the funny thing about this is, when I was talking to Hong, I realized we were both from the same place. And the same place being, we were both refugees, and our families are from Ohio. So 45 years later, these kids, refugee kids, somehow linked up in California, thousands of miles away, to stop an Asian hate crime, or to report an Asian hate crime, which was just, it was just fate. So I've been able to work with Hong and talk to Hong about things that are going on, and she agreed to come up here.
I'm a little bit different from everybody here.
Thank you, Hong.
There's definitely hate. There's definitely hate. But what is a real, I don't know. Gosh. It's, people got hate in their hearts.
Last summer, I was at a restaurant in Los Angeles. A man came up to me and handed me his business card and said, "Hey, let's have lunch." I respectfully declined. He snatched the business card from me and told me to go back to Asia. This was followed by another 2 minutes of hateful and derogatory words. I knew that if he took another 2 to 3 steps towards me, I would have been cornered in. And my only defense mechanism at the time was to record the altercation in hopes that it would not become a physical altercation. I asked for help from those around me, and they did the best they could under the circumstances. A few minutes later, the employees were finally able to escort the man to the other side of the restaurant. I called 911 for myself as I was crying uncontrollably in the corner. The police officer arrived. About 30 minutes later, I showed him the video of the incident, and he told me, "This is normal. This happens all the time. There's no police report. There's absolutely nothing we can do about this." Go back. My husband and I then went home and we were discussing whether or not we should share the video of the incident. We wanted to protect the privacy of our family because we do have 2 young children, but at the same time, we heard at that time there were over 2,500 attacks against the AAPI community, and I never saw a video as horrific as the encounter that I had. After sharing the video, I came in contact with him to apologize for the responding officer's lack of action. Took my police report as a hate incident and ended up Treating all other control participants on how to address expectations.
I'm not a big fan of this AAPI crap that somebody just made up. Who writes this stuff, man? Somebody wrote that script. Hey, you wrote that script. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They writ it. So yeah, there's still a narrative here, but you know, that's okay. Things like this, I'll speak for the Pacific Islanders. Maybe people disagree with me. I don't care. Everybody's got their own opinion. But
since we learned from
yeah.
that the vast majority of these acts are happening
We get those idiots out there. But should I go protest that Los Angeles? How do you protest that Los Angeles is? I don't know. I mean, something definitely happened here, but
a witness or a victim of an active hate are able to call 211 or go on laversus.org if they're in Maui County. And victims will connected to various resources such as counseling, legal aid, medical assistance, reimbursements for lost wages, for example. And I have the privilege and the honor of being able to help other victims like me.
What's up, Hyde?
I am also now partnering with Asians American Advancing Justice in order to offer free bystander intervention training to anyone that has ever witnessed to an active hate. And as of today, over 50,000 people have already been trained. I am also now partnering with Stop AAPI Hate in order to remind others to report whenever these incidents happen.
So I got this new mic.
All acts of hate since the pandemic started, and as of today, we've been over 30
Okay.
reports. And we know that this number is only a fraction of what actually
Okay. This is Dee Dee, right? Dee Dee? Okay, Dee Dee's smiling all the time. She knows what's up. She knows what's going on over here.
I'm from Montreal Park. Yeah. I like Trump. Yeah. I like America. Yeah, America, everybody is free. Yeah, and
It's okay. It's okay.
I'm speaking Chinese.
Oh,
Chinese?
Speaking Chinese.
Yeah.
Can you talk in Chinese? You can, yes, please.
Yes, please.
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 我喜欢美国，我爱美国。美国是一个自由、平等、公平的国家。我喜欢，我支持川普的保守派的理念。谢谢。
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out here. Appreciate it.
That in itself was its own kind of a racist attack against Asians that was, you know, really more reminiscent of what we've experienced for like 20, 25 years now, especially for immigrants. You know, I think we hit on some points earlier that, you know, you never really feel like you're American because people are always asking you where you're really from, you know, stuff like that. But and that's a sad reality, but you know, it's always been subtle. But last year,
you know what though, guys, they're making
success of us Asians. And you know, the reporter
like
asked
he's saying that the success of Asians.
Irvine is kind of an example of successful Asian Americans.
Yes, it is.
I mean, we have come here to build lives, and we live in safe suburbs, and we're so proud to to be here and to grow in numbers here. And that's something that, you know, I think Stephen has been a big part of. He was a mayor of Irvine at one point, and he's got, you know, a few things to share with us today. So thank you, Stephen, for being here.
Okay, he's boss with a hat. Straight up, he's boss.
Good morning, everybody, and also organizer John Park for your effort. This is my third appearance here on this piazza, protesting against anti-hate crime. Anti-hate crime is not against only Asians, that is prevalent right now going on, but I don't like the events, the causes, why I have to show up on Saturdays here
However, as long as it takes, I think we need to fight back.
Yes, absolutely.
I have a long story to tell as a mumble jumble, but let me go through just a brief thoughts that I put down here. The issue of anti-Asian hate crime is very serious, and we must stand in solidarity. That's what we are doing right now, to stop these hateful and illegal actions. Unfortunately, these hateful crimes against Asians have increased during the coronavirus pandemic period since last March up until now. I'm an Asian immigrant from Korea. America is strengthened by contributions made by immigrants and their diversity. I regret to see the anti-Asian hate crime occurring locally and throughout the country. In 2020, Orange County experienced a tenfold increase in hate incidents and hate crimes against Asian Americans, according to the OC Human Relations statistics. These alarming numbers
Asian
of victims
Statistics Relations
represent community members, small business owners, neighbors, moms, dads, children, grandparents, aunts, and uncles. Since March 2020, over 1,600 Asian Americans living in California have reported hate-related instances. This is appalling and needs to stop. One number that was not added in this statistics is my own son, who were verbally abused when he was walking out of the restaurant. I could have been with him, and I could have been the same victim. I don't think he reported it to your human resources, and that's why his number may not be there. There will be, so many hundreds of such similar instances that this statistics don't correctly represent.
Okay. I'm sorry. I gotta.
I love you. She's telling me her story. She said that she's been here for 24 years, but after her first year, she just lived.
Sorry,
She said, obviously she was scared when she first came to this country, but she said after 1 year, she said, I don't want to go back. I love America.
So like America, my daughter same. My daughter 1 year, come here 1 year. I asked my daughter, you like America and you back to China? No, I like America. See, I'm come here 6 years. Almost 6 years, I'm buy one house.
So after 6 years, she was able to afford to buy one.
Because it's cheaper, no problem. This is my house. Yeah, I'm not. It's a longer rent. I need my house. Yeah.
Living the American dream. You came here and you're living the American
I worked
dream.
hard with my hands.
I'm work hard. I'm have 2 jobs. I'm go college, study beauty college school. You know. Yeah, I'm using my hand. Yeah, I'm work. No problem. Yeah.
And she now owns three
houses.
3 homes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. My daughter work hospital. Yeah, my daughter have a 4 degree. Yeah, I'm so happy. My daughter go school. No money for. I'm only pay finish.
And you said you didn't buy Gucci bags. You didn't buy all that stuff.
You didn't buy expensive, nice things. You just lived.
Yeah, I'm close is regular.
Just there we go.
Yeah, because my house is I have 3 houses.
That's what most people
2 houses is rent. One house. I'm right now. My house is so beautiful. Yeah, my daughter work is more money. So happy. Last year is a coronavirus, and right now everybody need
Yes.
vaccine. Yeah.
work so busy, so busy because of my daughter Heidi. My daughter tell me, Mommy, coronavirus come here, so too much people is lose job. You know, I'm so happy I have a job. Yeah, I'm every day, I'm a make up, beautiful. Yeah, I'm a work. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a take care patient. Yeah.
But you also said that you're scared. You're scared because of Joe Biden. She's like, I'm really afraid of what's gonna happen.
I don't want America change. Yeah, I like before America. You know, right now I'm so sad. I'm so sad. Trump is Trump. I'm quiet too much. Oh my God.
We have hope. Have hope. Have hope. He's coming back.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
For sharing your story.
You know, right now everybody is, you know, I like black people, white people, yellow people, is everything together. Together make America great again.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have to do it together.
Yeah, I like it together.
Yes.
No, everybody.
No dividing.
No. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I feel like
Awesome.
The Democrat, they come looking forward to America. It's the Democrat in the land.
Yes.
Actually, it's totally different. Democrat and freedom of speech and this totally different thing.
Totally
They say,
different, yes.
I come to the United States, is already get my freedom.
Yeah.
The way you go to communism really fast.
Oh, yeah.
Faster than
Fast,
China
yes.
and then Venezuela and
Yes.
stuff. Who are going to, the government, the people who happy the government, give you $1,400 a day.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit for the family, but it's very bad for the society.
For the
Because
society,
inflation come back right away. The gasoline,
bad.
$4 per
Ooh, gonna be
gallon.
$5 this
Right
summer,
away.
more, 6.
And some more. Now, more people lose their job.
Yes.
And who's going to produce for this money? No. They think, printing the money is very easy, very fast. But who's going to eat the result? They don't have the moral anymore. That's
No,
why
the morals are
the
gone.
morals are
No.
gone. I want something from you because you have extra $5.
Yeah.
I should have it.
Everybody think this thing brainwashed with equality. Saying,
Equality.
oh, we all the same. I'm like, no, that's not
No,
fair.
it's not the same.
If you work hard, you deserve it. If
Yes.
you don't want to work, you don't deserve it.
You work hard.
Yeah.
This is the only country can make your make your dream come true.
Yes.
And as long you work hard.
Yeah.
And if you don't speak up, and you have the right to speak up, and you don't speak up, you lose your right, and the country will go to hell.
Yeah, well, that's the
Very
problem.
fast.
People are now thinking free speech, they call it hate speech. They say, oh, don't say that, it's bad.
Right.
And then that's how it starts. And then more. And then now everyone
See,
say,
there's
turn
not.
in the
Yes,
guns.
that's it right there. The hate speech. There's not a word that can come out of my mouth that you should be able to punch me in the face for. I don't care what word it is. So this whole hate speech thing is bullshit.
No,
Yeah.
it's not
Because it's because there's hate. There's oh my gosh, I could say things to me, a brown person, you, what, anybody, China, whatever. But it's like, guess what? It's all wrong. I condemn it all.
I always say this is the only country that has no racists. This is the only white country and have a black president for 2 terms. If everybody say racist is totally wrong, brainwashed and totally wrong. This is the only country
Yes.
have no race. It doesn't matter. This is the only country have all races in one nation.
Yes. It's amazing. It's an amazing place to live in this country. I love this country. Thank you.
Everybody come to this country. You should love this country. If they don't love this country, go back to their country.
Yeah. Find one that suits you. Absolutely.
Right? No hate crime. The Atlanta shooting, it is 2 white people there.
Yeah.
6 Asian people, and I don't want to say Asian hate crime. There's no Asian hate crime.
Thank you.
This is all politics
Thank you.
to try to separate the races.
Thank you. We all realize that, if you come to this country and you work hard, you can get anything you desire.
That's the only country. That's the only country in the world. This country collapsed. There's no more country. I don't know. Everybody remember the prince for President Reagan funeral. That guy come from South Africa. He said this is the only country can make him such a poor guy to be a prince in the tallest church,
Yes.
and also handle the President Reagan's funeral.
It's Desmond Tutu, I believe his name. Was it Desmond Tutu?
I don't know his name.
Yeah, he's from South Africa. Gotcha,
That's too long ago. I just remember the statement. And this is the only country. Please love this country, do everything for this country, and keep our country the greatest.
All right, I love this. What's your name?
Nancy.
Nancy, where are you from?
From now here from Los Angeles.
LA.
Redondo Beach, LA. Yeah.
Redondo Beach, LA, guys. Don't mess with South Bay right here. She's gonna come and get you.
We have another rally protesting for SB 82,
SB 82.
And April 30 in Egg Child's house, 145 West Forest, Arcadia.
Arcadia, guys.
Only 1 hour, 11 to 12. We're not against Egg Child personal. We want to speak up for ourselves, speak for our right to make this country safe.
I'm gonna have to connect with you. I like you. I'm gonna hang out with you. Yes, there we go, Nancy.
For home landlord, for the rally like that, for protect ourselves. We don't want to live for communists. We love this country.
Absolutely.
We want to make it better.
I gotta ask you something. Why do you think there are so many young people here in the United States that want to try out communism? How does that work? Why do you think that's going on?
Communists actually from the Marxists, right? Communism is a dream for everybody fair. Everybody get the same value. But already all this country tried communists have been proved it's not happening. Because a human being, the laziness of is a human being's nature. You have to have a law and order. Make sure you work hard, you get what you want. You don't work, you don't get what you want. This is the only country. And the new generation, they live in the dream, like the Cinderella dream. Okay? Oh, we should be fair to everybody, for every races. And there's no such a thing. Already approved Venezuela, China, South Africa. They all know this is wrong. But in America, and they teaching the newer generation this fantasy, and it looks very good.
It appears good.
It appears good, looks very good. If you don't have the money, the government can print you the money. But how about after print the money? Who can take care of the basic industry? Who's going to make the furniture? Who's going to make the milk? If you get the same pay without work, who want to work? Yes. Like they say, laziness is the human nature. If you don't have anything to force them to do it, nobody wants to do anything. Who want to get up 1 o'clock in the morning to go to work? No. But if you have to, you have to. You got to do what you need to do. Right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
Because you know what happens in LA ends up affecting what goes on here in Orange County. And what happened is in November last year, we actually defeated Prop 25 with an overwhelming margin, something like 55.
Okay, I'm just getting you in the video here. I got video, but you guys are all here. Thank you for showing up, guys. You guys are rad.
I will need to the phone number. I send you the protesting.
Will be, the ones that are charged with crimes will stay in prison in the interim before the trial, and they would be off the streets. But you know what happened is they're now through the back door and through DAs like Gascon, allowing these criminals to roam free before their trial and actually committing more crimes. And I've actually documented, and I won't bore you guys with the details on this, but if you go online to AIBTV.org, I actually have a list of all of the criminals that were released right after, and they went on to commit more crimes. So those subsequent victims would have been avoided.
The next protesting about SB 82, we will do that in San Francisco together. San Francisco group, they are going to Nancy Skinner, SB 82's only author, to her office to protesting. This is a war. They make the community not safe and too many crimes under the $980 standard. And Los Angeles, we're going to do in the Egg Child's home, 145 West Forest Street and Arcadia. We're not, the reason we're going to do that, we're not against the Egg Child, but we want to speak up for
he's very
we know, won't know an SB.
Okay, thank you.
calls himself the Rooftop Parade.
Got it again, but it's all good.
And, I'm sure you guys know
Ed Chow's house in Arcadia.
the Rooftop
They're coming to
Parade
protest.
and, the watch riots.
I'll be honest, I don't know the bill, so I can't talk to it.
You know, from what was going on at the time. So, you know, I really, I'm excited to hear what he has to say. Tony, hello, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Tony, I see you, but I don't think you're listening. Tony.
Here's Tony. Here we go. Okay, this guy's
Thank you.
conservative Korean.
Thank you, Mark, for inviting me. I don't do this very often. In fact, 6 months ago, I was in my garage drinking beer. I had no idea there was a meme called Roof Koreans. It was about a week in April, about 29 years ago now. That I made a decision with my friend to go out and protect the community. And I was 19 at that time. And
This is one of the
I was able
OGs.
to use actually my first purchase. My first check, I bought a Remington 870 shotgun. Yeah, Second Amendment, yeah. But I had no idea that in about a year later, I have to take that out in April and actually start running patrols. And it was actually a phone call. My friend, he called me because his brother had a stereo shop called Sound Expo on Virgil and Washington. And we had basically pulled all the merchandise away from the windows. And then one of the things that the news doesn't talk about is that there was a lot of Hispanic and black employees and neighbors that were helping us at that time. I think that gets shot under the radar because we're in a time right now where the institutions that we have are looking to divide us. And I put the blame of this straight on the feet of the mainstream media, like CNN, and MSNBC, and also
they already took off.
left-wing Democrat politicians like Ted Lieu. He doesn't realize that he's a racist when he's calling out people and basically within a party that's looking to segregate instead of unite us as a people. I had 3 points.
Yes, down with Project Mockingbird.
Time I have. I didn't ask Mark. I don't want to take up too much time, but I just want to talk about a little bit about the past, which I did. I want to talk about the present, future, and then just kind of finalize it with something. But right now, there's a lot of media misdirection that I've seen. The riots that I saw last year in 2020, and I'm preparing and gearing up for the new riots that come up this summer because it looks like we're going to be hitting riot season again.
Riot season's on.
2021, based on all the stuff
We
that
all
we're
know.
seeing on the news. These riots are different. These are not people from the community that are coming out and basically burning and looting their own stores. These are people that are bussed in, that are coming from different areas. A lot of them are from
It's a
middle
circus.
class,
It's a
to
freaking
middle
circus.
class families,
Circus
burning and
in town.
looting stores and areas that they don't live in. And it's basically being covered up by the media. They're not talking about it. And one of the things they're not letting us do in terms of Asian hate, and you know, this is my friend A1. You know, he's doing a live stream, he's black. I got Ben Intelligent, where's Ben? You know, he's an African American gentleman too. You know, we're not connected in this country by the way we look. You know, just because I look like Ted Lieu doesn't mean that I share the same ideology. I share more with A1 and Ben than I do with Ted, and I consider A1 my brother. Right? I don't know if you guys can see the resemblance. But the reason why I'm laying this in front of the mainstream media, in front of CNN and MSNBC, is because they're not allowing us to have a national dialogue with everybody, with different groups. We're not able to connect and talk because they're putting everything under the rug, under the guise of white supremacy, which in fact is just a big farce. It's not true. You know, if you look at all the videos that we've seen, there's a small minority, and this isn't just the black and brown community or white community, but there's also within the Asian community, there's a small minority of people in this country that just hate, period. You know, and it doesn't matter what color you are, they just hate. And we need to have a conversation on a national level in order to kind of bring this to a close, but they're not letting that happen. So I feel the blame is on them and on the politicians. What I want to also talk about is the future, and this is something I would highly encourage some of you guys, if you guys haven't thought about it. I know most of us here are Asian, but I consider all of us Americans, and we've come here to this country, whether you came here generations ago, you know, through Ellis Island, or you came through LAX. we all came here because of different opportunities that we had in this country, and wherever we were wasn't working out for either us, our parents, or our grandparents, right? So in that sense, we were told to come here, get an education, get a job, right? Go buy a house, go start a family, go live your life. Well, I'm going to challenge you today. What more is there than that, right? Is that all there is in this country? Is that all there is to it, right? Because this is how the country splits apart. This is how the republic dies. Because you do all those things and you forget the one thing that's really important. I know public education is emphasizing STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and what is that, mathematics. We need to add an H in there. And the H, you can put it wherever you want in order to make it a really cool acronym, but we need to add history in that. Because there's a lot of things that are going on right now that we as a people, maybe the older generations are aware of it, but the younger ones aren't. And they're right now, we're maybe skipping away from UC Irvine or being indoctrinated by these leftist professors. And I've said this before, no one leaves a country, you know, that is totalitarian, a communist country, to come here and have their kids educated by those same people that they left. So what I'm asking you is, as parents and as young people, don't become the people that your parents left to come here and make a difference here now. Get involved. There's a lot of great people here that are activists, politicians. You can get locally involved. And I think, you know, for however you voted, I voted for Trump, right? And we didn't get the results that we wanted. But you know what? I'm a Christian. I believe in the Lord, and I think everything for our good, right? So in this sense, it's activated a lot of people. A lot of people have come out and they want to get involved locally. I highly encourage you to do that. Don't just come here and have, you know, feel good about it. Actually go to your local community and get something done. Because the only way we're going to change things is we change things on the local level first. So I highly encourage you to do that. And also, in talking to your kids, talk about legacy, right? I mean, don't leave them a smaller estate tax, which is important, I'm sure, but leave them something more. Leave them something about your history, how you came here, what your grandparents did, the struggles that you had coming here. I know it's painful to hear. I'll be honest, I didn't share this before, but I've shared this because my aunt told me, but I wouldn't be here until, by the grace of God, unless the US Army had intervened in the Korean War. My grandfather at that time was a de facto mayor of a small town that everybody knew, and the North Korean Army had his name on the list, and they were hunting him. And 11 times they took him out to the field to basically kill him. On the 11th time, he knew he was gonna die because they actually had him out and they actually were gonna take him out. It was it was a clear night, big moon out, and US Army choppers flew overhead and these guys took off. So my grandfather was able to keep his life and emigrate and come here, and basically here I am, right? So I thank the Lord that that happened. I thank the US military for that. And lastly, I just want to say that I've heard that it's always darkest before the dawn. So I want to let you know that in this country right now, and this is what I feel, and I've been talking to other people, there's a revival going on. If you're of the faith, you know, if you believe in Christ, there is a revival going on, and with that, there will be a resurgence. So with that, I thank you, and just want to tell you to keep hope and keep fighting. If you're an activist, get out to the rallies, get involved, and just, you know, be out there. Don't be home anymore. You've seen everything you need to see on YouTube and Netflix. You know, get other things done. Be active in your local community, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Sean.
God bless you. God bless America.
I really appreciate it. And real quick, because he's got to leave, but you know, James, you can introduce our.
Yeah, so our next speaker is Fred Whitaker. He is former Orange councilman, and also the chairman of
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Chris?
Hey, Mark, John, thank you for allowing me to be here. You know, today is a lot about showing our love for one another, one nation, one people. And I think people need to understand the history of the nation. You know, our Declaration of Independence said we are all endowed by our Creator.
He's one of the original Koreans on the roof from back in the day. And he spoke out against fake news. Got the fake news here today. Yeah, they do.
White supremacy, or it's conservatives, or it's the Republican Party, somehow trying to divide people. It's anything but the truth. The Republican Party is the Republican Party of Abraham Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation. It's the Republican Party that fought for the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments that didn't allow us to pass discriminatory laws. It's the Republican Party of the 1957 and 1964 Civil Rights Act.
Okay.
Okay, so just briefly.
I'm just listening. I'm sorry. I'm live streaming. We appreciate what you do. We love what you do. Thank you. How can we follow you? Are you politically social online? Twitter. What's your Twitter?
Roof Korean 7.
Roof Korean 7. Follow him. He knows what's going on. Thank you very much for what you're doing.
And when we decide if we're going to
Roof Korean 7.
guilt for one race,
Got to share the
or
truth.
collective preference for another race,
We'll talk to
that's
him.
all
We
about
know.
saying the state has a role in what our lives are supposed to be. It's not about individual freedom. It's not about individual accountability. It's about collectivism. And collectivism requires the power of the state. And I'm just here to tell you the Republican Party is the party that stands for freedom, individual accountability, and it stands for our nation as one nation for many people. Don't be fooled. Racism, at its heart, the hate that drives racism, desperately wants the government to come in and say, these people can't be here. These people have to only do this. These people need to be put on a pedestal. That is totalitarianism right there. That is the government, that is the police power of the state being used against you, and if it's being used against you, it's going to be used against me tomorrow. So ladies and gentlemen, stand for one another, stand for each other, because only together can we keep America a free nation. One people, stop all hate.
Thank you so much. I want to bring up, actually, I'm very excited to introduce her. Crystal Jade is a longtime friend of mine. Crystal's in and she is going to come up and speak. But I want to just kind of like prelude it. You know, Crystal is a doer. I'm really tired of a lot of people that get involved in the community and politics, whatever it is, and they're just talk, theorize. I call it mental masturbation. I mean, it's just, it's so tiring. But you know, this woman is a doer. She gets stuff done. She's helped me so much in my events in the past, and you know, I'm just so excited to have her speak. And you know, we kind of feel strongly about this too, because Crystal and I had a little conversation. I am very happy to say that this is a non-partisan, non-political event, because I feel like I gotta slam both the left and the right on this, okay? The left, thank you. I wanna thank the left, because the left opened up the discussion and said, okay, let's make this hashtag and let's get attention around this. But you know what the right did right after? The right wanted to suppress it. The right wanted to say there is no Asian hate, which is the biggest lie ever, okay? Because it's happening. It's well documented. If you follow Asian Dawn on Instagram, you can see daily all of the stuff that's going on. And yes, exactly. And you know, we're gonna bring Joy up because she's got something to say about that as well. So we're just very happy today to actually come from a different point of view, but also to realize that the problem exists. And thank you, Crystal, for recognizing that. I'll get off my soapbox now.
Hello, everyone.
So friend Crystal
It's such
Jade.
a privilege to be here. You know, Mark and I, we have been friends for a long time. And one of the conversation, you know, and then he said, hey, why don't you come and speak? Yeah, I go, okay, right, you know. I am a Chinese, and I'm proud to be a Chinese. All right?
Are you American?
I'm Chinese. All right, so
American.
Yes, what I'm trying to say is that I am proud of where I come from, who I am. Why should I be ashamed of who I am? Right? But we all come together, come to America. What does America promise? A melting pot for each and every one of us who choose to call this place our home. So, in that way, we are American. So you talk about being, you know, when some people see me say, hey, go back to China. I said, excuse me, I'm not in China. I'm not from China. So you said the presumption of the people when they come and see you, go back to China, go back where you come from. Why should I go back? Who are you to tell me? Where should I go? We make a choice to come here to make this our home. And here we fight for our freedom. Where I come from, I cannot fight for my freedom. Where I come from, I cannot stand here and speak and say, hey, you, Sleepy Joe. No. This is what America is all about, right? You are from the left, you are from the right, you are independent. It doesn't matter. We just need to respect one another. Absolutely. So there is no hate. I'm proud to go out and wear my cheongsam or my qipao and say, I'm Chinese. I'm not afraid of that. How many times people come up to me and spit at me? Mark knows me, I'm everywhere. I organize rallies, I do this, I was at the OC supervisor meeting and things like that. I'm not afraid to say I'm Chinese. Why should I be afraid? Because there is no Asian hate. Look at all my friends here. Yes. Come on.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, I'm not trying to say color now, but they're black. Yeah. I think they're white. There are all kinds of people here in America, wherever I go, whichever community I go to. There they are, welcoming me. All my friends that I come across, GOP, Mr. Fred Whitaker, welcome me in the office. And he's the one to say, okay, do the recall. So, you see, we are here to help one another. And somebody asked me, why do I want to do this? Why am I an activist? Because I think I have the right to fight what I want to be, what I want this country to be. So I pick up myself. I do not run with a group. I do not run with a committee, but I run what the Lord told me to do. I know that I put forth my feet forward in faith, and God will lead the way. And then from that on, I meet so many people.
They're using the same font as BLM.
In my,
so
I got no basement. So if I
ALM.
hide where I am and stick my ass to the couch,
Yes.
I will not know any one of you here. So we are there. So I become a volunteer for campaigns. I'm Chinese. I speak Huayi. 我讲国语. So I am accept to many candidates because I make phone calls. And I speak Chinese. I make Chinese phone calls. Right?
Yeah.
Don Wagner, other people. And so how to be involved? Not just, okay, I must be rah, 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 I must be seen in front of TV. Be where you are, where your community needs you, your candidates. So how are we going to change this, whatever we are here? Get involved. All right, I'm very sad to say the Democrat has become the communist. So what choice do we have? Well, the
You heard it, guys, you heard it.
So the next time you have a Republican candidate in your community, in your district, who runs for an office, go and help them. Do not be afraid. You speak with an accent. They love Chinese people. They love Vietnamese people. Hey, we were looking for Vietnamese color. We were looking for Thai color. We were looking for every Asian language color. And we can't find them. So, you know, wherever you are, you know your community, even for Laos, be involved. Don't let anybody else tell you, hey, come on, let's go, let's go. No, let's do it. Just do it. To change America is you, not him, not Fred, not John, but you. You want change, then the change has to start in you.
Why does it? Crystal Jade said it herself. The DNC are the Communist Party. Okay?
All the way from LA.
Come on, man.
Hey, Julie, ni hao.
Look at what they represent. The DNC is full of crap. So for real.
Okay, thank you everyone, and God bless you.
Yeah, they're a bunch of commies. Look at their policies. Hey, I'm just telling you guys to look. Keep your mind open, man. Look.
Thank you, Chris.
Look at their policies. Look what they fight for. Yeah, you might be supporting some communist, commie.
All right, our next speaker, Dr. GT, is a retired medical doctor and a community organizer. We're ready for you, Doctor.
Crystal, you mentioned this. The DNC is the Communist Party. That's crazy. See, take somebody, I mean, We know that. You just got to open your eyes and look. Simple as that.
Look at the agenda.
Look at the
what they want to do. There's no longer JFK Democrats anymore. Everything is communist.
Thank you. This isn't the party of JFK, guys. It's a new party. So yeah.
So here I am here. I'd like to say something about law and order in California. I'm sorry, I'm not politician. I'm not an activist. So I don't know how to public speak. So I have to read. Okay. We all know the notorious Proposition 47 was orchestrated by then California Attorney General Kamala Harris and supported by California Democratic Party and championed by ACLU, misled voters by using title of Safe Neighborhoods and Schools Act. But Proposition 47 encouraged the crimes, reducing non-violent felonies to misdemeanors for theft of 950 or under.
I know what this is about SB 82, guys. It decreased the time that people would serve and increased the amount that had to be stolen to qualify as a felony and not a misdemeanor. And it really changed how many people were in the jail system. So it's a lot of people were let out that shouldn't have been, and well, shouldn't have been under the old policies. But yeah, there was even a cop that was killed. I know a cop that was let out. I want to say it was in like Lancaster, where he was let out and he ended up killing a cop.
Many of the businesses owned by minorities, including Asian Americans. And here I'd like to say I disagree with Steve Choi about Asian crime statistics. Yes, it is increased, but did they have crimes against blacks, against Hispanics, crimes against whites? How those statistics? Do we have all crimes increase across the nation, across California? And in that in the circumstances, of course, Asians will not be immune. Okay, so our politicians in California choose idealism over our safety, social experiment over common sense. Apparently in California, Democrat politicians, also some Republican politicians, including Steve Choi, I disagree with, are not concerned about fighting criminals activities all over California after Proposition.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty interesting. All the different, everyone's here representing a different cause.
Go further to help criminals instead of law-abiding California residents. Recently, Nancy Skinner from Berkeley,
ALM, man.
another Democrat state,
You know what I say. Is there a yellow fist? I mean, I saw this last week. Yeah, I know. I can't. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that.
Proposition 47. They believe Proposition 47 is not enough to protect, to help criminals. So Proposition 82, SB 82 is going further to encourage crime by making strong armed robbery a misdemeanor. Proposition 47 passed in 2014 encourages non-violent crime. SB 82 in 2021.
I'm gonna come back here and see if I can talk to some people about what they think. You know, I'm gonna go talk to this lady right here. She seems pretty interesting. She came out here. She got flyers. Gold again. Make California go. I gotta ask you, what you here for? Yes, you got your shirt and you got the flag.
my Asian
Okay,
friend.
okay, gotcha.
Friend, but also representing Sarah Stevens, who's running for governor.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's, you know, for faith freedom.
Faith freedom?
Faith, family, and freedom, but
Okay.
like the message here, we're all one people, we're all God's children.
Okay, well, perfect. Well, thanks for coming out here. All right.
Physical injury suffered by the victim of a violent crime.
Oh, man, I can't with this cameraman.
Substantial risk of death, extended loss, or impairment of a body part.
She's supporting a candidate for governor here in California. And I guess that's the slogan, Make California Gold Again. So it'd be MCGA. That's oh, I'm sorry. Doesn't make for it's a difficult acronym.
But this bill also retroactively means the bill will restructure the sentencing of a convicted robbery felon. So now we're living in the time of foreign interest all about law-abiding residents' interests in California.
Which way?
In the very recent years, under Governor Newsom, through Democrats control the legislature or governor's executive orders, now we got $0 bail in California, which means crime suspects will be released within 12 hours without a cash bail. Governor Newsom released 8,000 plus prisoners back to the street before their term over.
These are professional made signs right here.
This national movement supported by Democrats to defund police.
Possibly.
Some of the cities in California joined the fray.
I like that. The gear.
Open border policy.
Okay. Other than talking to people, I want to talk to some people. I want to see.
California is a factory state.
No, let's see what kind of goodies we got in the bag here. Oh, we got some blueberry muffins.
Across California at the time we are expecting more crime. The bill today is over law-abiding license safety that must be defeated.
I'm taking one of these. Don't open it. Just bring it. Just I'm sorry if I didn't do it now.
Want me to open it?
Just leave when we leave.
Against all crime instead of divisive stop.
I don't open it right now.
We support all life precious and all life matters. Please call your district representative against SR 82 and demand it will never be brought up in the legislature to even discuss it. We have a lot more to do to defeat SR 82 and repeal position police act. And recall Governor.
See, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this stuff, but when you live in California, it's so diverse here. Everybody owns certain things, and I can make fun of everything. I mean, if you're here in Orange County, I'll tell you what, somebody, okay, this is a game. Who owns all the donut shops in Orange County? And I'm not going to say all of them. I'm just going to say a lot of them.
Yeah,
okay?
I want to bring up a good friend of mine.
There's a lot of painters.
He's the Fountain Valley City Councilman.
Here in Orange County, I've noticed that there's a lot of painters. Like they paint homes that are Korean. Just saying that. Hey, who does all the landscaping? Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for saying that, right?
Let's actually make a difference. And he did. In the months of December and January, while every restaurant was closed because they were afraid because the governor decided to shut things down. He worked with his restaurants in his city to keep things open. So I could grab an indoor dining meal during
okay. This guy owns a
that
restaurant.
month. And it was, you know, these are memories that, you know, could have been not happened if, you know, if I didn't have an outlet like Fountain Valley. So Ted is really brave, and Ted is really a principled guy, and, you know, he's also helped us out with our coalition to you know, address these Asian attacks. So we're very excited to hear from you. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you so much, Mark, for the introductions. Everyone, please join me to pledge the flags of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So thank you so much. So are we all Americans? That's what I want to hear. How's everyone doing today?
I think we missed the line in the Pledge of Allegiance. That's
Coming out
okay.
here on a beautiful Saturday, right? Who wants to be out here this Saturday, or rather be spend time with your families? But thank you for being out here. That means what? That means you care of what's going on around the nations. And it is deeply sad for what's happening. And I really, truly enjoyed
I was saying earlier
moving forward and addressing
that
the
if, you know,
So
who owns all the Arco stations, all the 7-Elevens? Yeah, I'm just saying. It's not, it's, but if we answer that question somehow, it's leading some kind of a racist narrative. No, it's not. I mean, dry cleaners. Let's go. I mean, a lot of the service industry are dominated. I'm Tongan. I'm from the island of Tonga. Tongans,
don't listen what they tell you.
they build concrete. I'm not saying everyone, but I'm just saying there's a lot of Polynesians that do concrete work and masonry.
This data is
Yeah.
put together by the Center
Yeah, who's doing your
for
nails?
the Study of Hate and Extremism.
Come on now. It's fine.
Make sure I don't want to pronounce
But
the
we
wrong
all
name.
get along.
California State
But if I
University
point
of
these
San
out, I'm
Bernardino.
not a racist. You
And they
know?
compiled this data.
I'm just pointing out, hey,
during the
it's
FBI
fun living here
data, and also
where everybody gets along. I know there's a movie back in the, I believe it was the late 80s, 90s, and it was,
So we have since
I forget the guy's name, but he gets off of work and he goes home, and like his car breaks down, there's like all this strife and unrest, and he's like trying to get home. Yeah, you remember that. He's like some dude that just hit a gun and all that stuff, and he's getting crazy. Yeah, that kind of puts a finger on
Los Angeles.
how diverse Los Angeles is, and it is. We all come from different places, and we're a melting pot, right?
Never had crime all the time. Now they do. So tell me.
And I'm just talking and walking around, getting
So
exercise.
the information, like, it's there.
Sorry, I
So,
would listen to this guy,
as
but
American, how do you don't be a victim? We have
yes,
to thank you for law
don't
enforcement
be a
for bringing
victim
law
for
and
sure.
order.
I like what he's saying now. Maybe I should come in.
By who? By politicians or by the superior? So as an American, what you want to do is, if you believe strongly this is wrong, stand up. And how do you make a stand? By reach out to your local leaders. Whether it's your local city councilman, bring up the issues. Bring up to the state assemblyman. Bring up to your congressman. Bring it to the senator. Give them the pressure. Tell them the law is there. We need to enact on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ted. Ted's a great guy. Come to Fountain Valley. The restaurants there stayed open, so. Right? And they're not going to be douchey about masks either. Listen, the next person I want to bring up is my good friend Leslie. And Leslie actually is, California native, right? But you moved back. You moved to Vegas and you came back. And I think what moved her back is love for her home. And to see, all the things that are going on, and especially with these Asian attacks. She's a business woman, she's a philanthropist, and just an all-around great person. So Leslie, she came to me with a news story that she was pretty, upset about, and it's one of the many incidents that have happened. So, and I said, hey, Leslie, people got to hear your voice. So, without further ado.
Thank you so much, Marcus. I really appreciate you inviting me here. It's wonderful to see everybody out here supporting this initiative. And so I'd really like to just start off by sharing a story that I read that really just upset me, and thought that you might find this interesting. And I'm going to also talk about what we can do to combat these issues. So there was a 70-year-old woman who was on a bus, just innocently on her way to a grocery store. She didn't drive, so she had to take a bus. And this is in the Eagle Rock Highland Park area, not that far from here in Los Angeles. Another passenger, and this was described, the story was reported on 2 news media, Asian Dawn, as somebody mentioned, and the East Sider. So this is where I'm getting my information. So another passenger who was described as a black woman, aged 25 to 30, called the elderly woman a racial slur. The slur that she used applied to people of Chinese descent. And then she violently attacked her. Now, in this particular case, the victim was in fact Mexican American, and according to her son, she's also mistaken for Vietnamese. The victim was attacked
Oh, wow.
from the back of the bus all the way to the front of the bus, according to the son.
Wow. So the victim was Hispanic, who looked Asian. Man, if you're gonna get your hate crimes right, go after the right races, right? The guy was Hispanic.
Nobody would help her, not even the bus driver. The attack only ended when a passenger called 911. The victim was held in the hospital for about 24 hours and released. Her son said that she had difficulty walking.
It's getting warm out here.
In the incident, compounding a pre-existing
I would like to know what the numbers actually are. I just, you know, because I know there's a lot of hate crimes out there, but how do they categorize it? We'll try. I don't know what's going on. We'll try. Thank you.
Horrifically, violently assaulted. Okay, so this is, I'm sorry, that's why. So, what are some of the
My
things
friend
that
Joseph right here.
As people that are in the environment, out here, citizens, law-abiding people, get involved and support the AAP groups in your areas.
Okay, I do not support the AAIP groups or whatever PI, whatever that Pacific Islander. You know what? It's like, who put this thing up and who put our name on it? Come on now, PI, Pacific Islanders? I don't think Pacific Islanders are victims. We don't play the victim card, okay? And maybe there are some out there that do, but for the most part, no. Thanks for joining us. We're in Irvine, California. There was a rally here. It's a Stop Asian Hate / hashtag Stop All Hate. This is a Stop All Hate rally here, and you know it's small, but I think this is this is a big voice of people here saying, you know what, let's figure this out. United Against All Crimes. I like Mark Ang. He's my friend right here. He's got he does this. He's very conservative, and I love what he does. He did a planned. I've gone to a planned movie that he sponsored, and I've also been to a Alan West event that he sponsored, as well as I met Dr. Wakefield. He's the doctor that did Vaxxed, that produced it, that starred in, and Mark Ang has also sponsored that event. And it was really cool meeting Dr. Wakefield. This is a year or two ago.
Learn about the history of Asian American discrimination in the United States.
Yes, I agree with that. There was the Asians. They came here. A lot of them came through San Francisco. They've been here for a long time in the United States. They're long-time Americans. There's a lot of people who have come here to this country who are long-time Americans, but it's like, you know, once you start separating it up and start, you know, getting everybody's victim, you know, which category do I belong in? Where do I fit? Well, if you know anything about the Hegelian dialectica, Hegelian dialectica, it's nice to be able to have. It's where a problem is created and then a problem is solved already because you go into this with a solution. So you create the problem, and you already have a solution. This is kind of what's going on over here. I'll tell you what, though.
Have decided that I'm not going to stand down. I'm not or at least if it does, I did my best. And I hope that everybody else will really think about that.
I'm glad we're out here talking about this, and I like all the U.S. flags. Asians are big supporters of conservative values. They're very Christian, and she loves America. Yes, thank you.
Our next speaker today is George Lee, former TALK president and a community organizer.
And I just got to give a shout out. George did a lot of work behind the scenes for this event as well, and we just love him so much. Thank you, George.
Thank you very much for everybody for coming here on Saturday morning, especially my friends in the back row from all the way from Los Angeles.
That's right.
Susan, and all the other people I don't know the name. And yeah, very excited about that. And today, I think a lot of my friends talked about this, crimes, violence, hate, the rise of these criminals' activities against the Asian Americans and all other Americans as well. And my friends talk about this, the root cause of this phenomenon is a lack of the law and order and the defund police movement, all this kind of radical left agenda. But I would like to tell you guys what I see even more another angle. It is from a cultural. It's a cultural front.
Well, here's a narrative. There's a narrative that's been
attacked by the radical left agenda.
You know, I think some of the people here are trying to get ahead of the
They are pushing around to brainwash our
and I like Mark. I like what he does.
Especially our younger generation. For people who don't know the CRT, it is a doctrine. It is a lie.
I forgive her.
To say America is inherently systemic racist country built on race.
Okay, I'm gonna go talk to somebody. That's what we need to do.
They classify this country in two classes: the oppressed and the oppressor. Why are the oppressors? Because they have a privilege at the expense of the people of color. Interestingly, CRT regard Asian Americans as white adjacent. It's a privilege. Is that ridiculous? It's ridiculous. Why? Because Asian Americans work hard, pay attention to education, and achieve their American dream. That doesn't fit the narrative of oppressed minority in the leftist narrative. So they just kick out of the people of color. They think that we are privileged. So this kind of talking point, this narrative, increase. I think it's sow the hatred. It's sow the discord among Asian Americans and other races. And I think currently the crime, the heightened crime environment was attributed largely on this climate, this race narrative created in America.
I like that. He's right. Race narrative. There's a narrative, definitely, guys. Come on now.
I'm a Chinese American who immigrated to a great country 20 years ago. We left the dictatorship, tyranny, to seek freedom. Then we see this is a doctrine, this is a CRT, it's a very dividing, divisive, and hostile to Asian Americans. But for us, we know that a lot of people who came here from communist China know that in 1960s through 1970s, we have similar things.
I just talked to Crystal Jade said this.
Revolution.
My friend, who just spoke.
We had a warfare. We had a class warfare.
She said these people, they left their countries, many of them, because of communist policies.
It's one class of oppressed,
and so they left. And then many of them have come here and are advocating for the same policies.
So I would like to let you know that this is a tactic of a radical left to divide and control our people.
Yes.
To turn our people, one group of people against another. We just don't let them do that, okay? We cannot let them divide the country and destroy this country. So what I'm telling you is that we have to do something about it. It's a war against American people. It's a war against American freedom. So what I tell you is that I suggest is that start actions. So one action is that talk to your representatives, local, city, state, and federal, and strongly express your strongly opposition against the.
He's basically saying, get off your ass. Get off your ass and do something about it. And if you don't, then sit home in your home and don't complain to anybody. Okay?
And oppose this.
If you're not going to stand behind what you believe, I don't care what it is.
Board of Education passed this
believe in something.
ethnic study model curriculum in March, and they will implement this curriculum across the state. So we have to stop that. We have to talk to the legislators to stop them make this mandatory in our schools. We don't want our kids to be brainwashed and indoctrinated by this very, very communist left agenda.
You heard it, guys.
So together,
exactly.
let's fight. Let's unite. We are one nation, one America, one people. Together, we'll take our freedom back. Thank you very much.
That's right. That is right. It takes a Chinese to tell people about communist policies. Come on.
Sorry,
now.
I forgot. Yeah, there's a wonderful family recently moved to China, from China to this great country to seek freedom. His name is Kelson's son. He wants to speak a few words about his experience. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you, Kelson.
Thank you. Hi, family. My wife, Leona, my daughter, Lisa. Sorry, I don't know English.
It's okay.
I have American dream.
I will translate. Thank you.
在中国
In China,
所有的身份证上都会注明种族成分。
all the ID will mark what your race is
以保证你会被区别对待。
to make sure that you can be treated separately.
这种区分的本质就是限制自由。
What's the reality is just the limitation to the freedom.
我听说美国的身份证上面不注明种族。
I heard that there was no race to mark on the ID, right?
因此，我带领我们一家人来到了美国。
So I come here with my whole family.
是的，我们进入美国才6个月。
We just have been here for 6 months.
但是我们每一天看到的媒体报道都是在强调种族。
But what we can saw every day from the major media is that for also race.
你是非裔的，你是亚裔的。
Maybe afraid of African race and Asian race and all the races.
如果是这个白人这个被打死了，就不会被报道。
If there is a white was killed, that it will not be reported.
那么其实只要我们深入的思考一下，就会明白。
If we just thought it one step further.
种族主义的基础是做种族区分。
The foundation of the racism is to separate all the races.
没有种族区分就没有种族主义。
Without this, there is no racism.
所以种族区分不是美国。
So that's not American.
I have a dream.
I have a dream. 我有个梦。
回归法治。
Go back to law and order.
停止种族区分。
Stop the race separately.
回归事实报道。
Go back to report really.
停止将美国变成中国。
Stop Black American becoming China.
Oh, you see that, guys?
神会祝福这个不区分种族的国家。
God will bless this no racism American.
I like that. I like that. You see, guys? This guy's been here for 6 months and he's saying that. I know a lot of you who've been living here all your life and you can't even speak to this kind of stuff. So I talk to people. Yeah, guys. How is it that he can speak up about freedom and the principles of freedom, and he's only been here for 6 months, guys? This is getting freaking like nonsense. Who out there really wants to defend their freedom? Really? Yeah, what are you doing about it? Oh, guys, if you guys like us,
bring up the Korean conservative.
The Korean conservative,
Next
yes.
speaker, Korean conservative.
I like that. I like this guy.
Guys, follow him on Instagram.
I love your videos.
Okay.
Hello. All right, listen.
Follow him on
when he
Instagram.
first DM'd me to come here, I done told him you might not like the way I say things, and he said everybody agrees you should still come. So you're gonna get. You asked for it. You asked for this. You're gonna get what you're gonna get. So for everybody with kids here, I would highly suggest you take them out right now. And I'm going to use some language here. And there's a term I'm going to be using a number of times, and it's going to be the word animals. But I want you to keep this in mind. The word animals is used to describe a type from a specific demographic. Because if you behave in a certain way, I'm going to call you a motherfucking animal. That's gonna happen. So let me start this off by saying that hashtag Stop Asian Hate. A number of people have spoken about it. You're actually wrong on some accounts. I'll correct you. Don't worry about it. And but in short, here's my thesis statement: the hashtag Stop Asian Hate is fundamentally useless as fuck. And here's why. So first off, if you guys don't know, Stop Asian Hate only came around after that one white guy did what he did in Atlanta. Only after that. Here's where the leftist media fucked up though. We have access to the internet. These people still think it's the 90s where the mainstream media is the only thing we have access to. You done fucked up. The internet is here. And we saw, all of us, we saw how quiet you were when it was blacks attacking us at disproportionate rates. And by the way, speaking of which, that's been going on for decades. Don't believe me? Okay, here's a statistic. The black thugs from the black community, animals, they've been attacking us at a disproportionate rate of 280 to 1 than the other way around for decades now. It's more than just recently. That study comes from the Justice Department from 2018. Why is the 2018 date so important? Because that was before the coronavirus thing. Do you understand why that's important? Okay, so even before adjusting for population, they attack us at a rate of 280 times more than we attack them. Because let's face it, Asian Americans, we're just not built that way. We mind our own business, we work hard, and for that we're currently being punished. I'll address that in a little bit too. So, stay with me. But yeah, so that only came around after the white guy did it, right? And the reason why they decided to do that only after the white guy did it was because they needed to find a way to hijack Asian American votes like they did with black votes in BLM, right? Because here's the thing. Because here's the thing. When Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum started Blexit, and when Lexit became a thing from Jesse, my friends over there, Jesse, the rest of them, I called it a long time ago. The Democrats are slowly going to start losing the black and Latino vote, and the recent voting demographics show what the vote was for Trump. It's like nothing we've ever seen before from the black and Latino demographics. And I called it, they're gonna go after the Asians next. Here's the problem with trying to go after Asians though. We're not that emotional. I'm not saying we're sociopaths, I'm not saying we're psychopaths, but as far as like not being driven by emotion, even other blacks will agree. The black and Latino community are very emotional people. Don't believe me? Go to an Asian party, go to a black party, go to a Latino party, see how boisterous we are. We're not. right? Even drunk, we're not, because we pretty much just pass out, don't we? We pretty much, right? But relatively, compared to the black and Latino, we're just not, which is why it's easy for Democrats / liberals to hijack their votes with their feelings through art, Hollywood, music industry. It's easy to hijack their feelings by continuing to say you're a victim, but if you vote for us, we can help you. It's easy to hijack their feelings, which is what art is based on, through movies, music, television, shit like that, right? It doesn't work on Asians, because we'll just watch that and be like, aw, anyway, so this math problem, right? Because we want to make money. And they knew it wouldn't work on us that way. They've never dealt with voters, potential voters like us before. We are way smarter than average. Even statistics will show that. It doesn't work with us. So how do you hijack a people that are just that awesome? I'll tell you how. They went the Sandy Hook route, right? Personal tragedy. Let's find a way in, because it's not an art form anymore. It's personal. So only after that did they do the Stop Asian Hate. So someone here recently said, oh, Stop Asian Hate is bullshit. I think it was this gentleman over here. Let me correct you for a second. It's not, if conservatives saying Stop Asian Hate is bullshit, it's not us trying to deny the fact that there are hate crimes against Asians right now. We're saying it's bullshit that only now it's going around because leftists have decided, oh, this is the perfect, the nuance gets lost. Okay, cool. But it's only after that they decided, oh, it's white people bad, and they all, obviously they want to still tie this to Trump. The reason, okay, here's a key ingredient to defeat the left at this particular rhetoric. They say that it's still all based on white supremacy, all because Trump was the one that said, oh, it's the China virus. That's what they're saying. That's how they tie it back into white supremacy. Oh, it's Trump's fault because Trump said China virus. Here's the thing, as a Korean American, I don't give a fuck what you call it. Is it from China? Good, then shut the fuck up, right? Look, if a flu came from Korea, they'd be like, if they'd said it's the Pyongyang virus or the Gangnam virus, okay, it's true, right? Look, I was born in South Korea. I came here when I was 10 months old, all right? My first language isn't even English, right? So even then, if they said it's the Gangnam virus, you know, I'd make a joke about it, like, are they talking about me? I am the virus. You don't believe me? You watch what your kid, listen to what your kids will be saying later when you take them home after they hear me speak. But my point is, that's how they're tying it into white supremacy. Trump's the China virus. Here's the thing, though: the overwhelming majority of the attacks are coming against us from a demographic, and the type of people from that demographic, animals, who are the same people who are for BLM and therefore anti-Trump, anti-conservative, anti-that. You're telling me these people, for some reason, who hate Trump and are for BLM, also are the same type of people that take Trump seriously enough to say, oh, he's right about that, let's go attack the Asians? I'm sorry, does that make any sense to you fucking people? Right? So, here's the thing. Even if that were the case, even if they were inspired by Trump to attack Asians at a disproportionate rate, which, by the way, it's something that's been going on for decades now. Don't believe me? Ask the roof Korean that was just here. His name is Tony Moon. He'll tell you. Ask any Korean that was alive in Los Angeles during 1992. He'll tell you. So, even if it were true that that's what they're getting their cues from to attack Asians, that's still not a white supremacy problem. You know what is it? It's a stupid fucking person problem. And let me tell you why. If you hear Trump say it's the China virus, and for some reason you hear that, and in your mind you register it as, oh, open season on Asian people. It doesn't matter if they're Chinese or not. Open season on Asian people. That's not a Trump or white supremacy problem. That's a dumb motherfucker problem. Okay? That is your fucking problem. It is not a white supremacy problem. All right? And by the way, isn't it funny? A gentleman here just addressed critical race theory. Let me capitalize on that right quick. Isn't it funny that, so critical race theory states that Asians are white adjacent, right? Because of our success levels. So just the other day, they were categorizing us the same as white people, but now they're saying, now that they need us to be victims to try and get our votes. Now all of a sudden, stop Asian hate, bitch. You hated us going into college so much that you decided to exclude us. Fuck you and your family. So, do you guys want me to keep going, or? I mean, no offense to everybody else, but this is the most excited I've seen this crowd since the other old people came here. I'm younger by you guys by far, right? I just turned 33. Still got that testosterone left. I don't, the rest of you, I don't know. So, yeah, so only now are they saying stop Asian hate. I'm sorry, that's just, but again, we're a lot smarter than that. We have the internet. We saw how quiet you were for everybody else. So with critical race theory, here's why it's so dangerous. And check the logic in this, okay? Critical race theory states that Asians are white adjacent. It also, critical race theory also states that you can't really be racist against white people. So if Asians are white adjacent and you can't be racist against them, does it make sense why there's an increase in attacks against Asians from the same demographic that loves critical race theory the most? Are you guys seeing the logic in this? Okay, and here's a convergence of multiple problems. The critical race theory states that, here's what BLM has to say about it. BLM is an openly Marxist organization. Yep. Marxism is based on the concept of there is an oppressor class and an oppressed class, right? That's the only way it works in Marxism. Now, in Marxism, they're saying, and according to BLM's version of Marxism, the oppressor class in this are white people, and the oppressed class are blacks and only blacks, okay? If Asians are also considered white adjacent, aren't we now part of the oppressor class as well? Right? That's the only way BLM works. That's the way Marxism works. So they're not mad at white people. Really, BLM as a Marxist organization is mad at successful people. Do you see why they would go after Asians while being Marxist and also adhering to critical race theory? Fuck them. Fuck them. Goddamn right, woman in the colorful shirt. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, and there are going to be some liberals out there who are writing, Asian liberals at that, pathetic, who are riding the fence saying, oh, but the Democrats still care about people of color. That's not true. Maybe so. Too bad they consider Asians white adjacent, right? Well, white adjacent until I get shot by a white guy, in which case now I'm a poor minority who needs their help. You got to ask yourself this, as far as the concept of minorities needing help goes, isn't it funny that the one major voting racial demographic that's never been touched by the Democrats, they didn't bother pandering to us because we make too little of the voting bloc, right? So isn't it funny how the one group they left alone to fend for ourselves is also the one group doing better than everybody else in terms of average income rate, average education rate, average nuclear family rate, average crime rate, or lack thereof? Isn't it funny how we're the one group that the one group Democrats have left alone are the ones that are outperforming everybody else, even white people, by the way, statistically speaking? Isn't it funny? You know why? Because they didn't have the time or the bandwidth to create a system of dependency on them. We just do better, and that's why it took them so long to try to figure out how to hijack our votes. But now they're trying. Now they're trying. Are we going to let them? And you know what, let me just say this. I heard too many Asian leaders here continuing to speak about how nice we need to be, love, unity, all that horseshit. Look, we tried. Okay, we tried. Asians have tried that for far too long, which is part of the reason why they think it's okay to steamroll us. Here's the reality of the situation. Somewhere along the line, Asians, particularly Asian men, have been hijacked, especially the younger generation Asian, and we've been hijacked by that K-pop feminine bullshit. What we need to do is go back to our roots, okay? And by roots, I mean Tony Moon, Roof Koreans. Where you at? What? There he is. So the 1992 Roof Koreans, right, they've become legendary. They set a precedent. There's a reason why when the George Floyd riots were at its peak not too long ago, every part of LA got touched, even Chinatown and Little Tokyo, other Asian enclaves. But they made a wide path around Koreatown for a reason, because they all know what will happen. Center mass, you fucking animals. Now here's the thing. We need to get back to that tradition. We need to get back to what it was before our youth got hijacked by college, leftist college administrators, professors. We need to go back to a time where it was family first. And then because it was family first, we also, by extension, and the Roof Koreans can attest to this, it was also country, because this country gave us the opportunity to take care of our families in a way we never thought we could. And they want to come up to us and take that from us. Here's the thing. You got to stop trying to be nice. Asian culturally, we have a bad habit of trying to play by the rules. We have a bad habit of trying to we're too quiet. For the Asian Americans out there, you don't have to, the reason why it's called Asian American is because it gives you an opportunity to take the best of both worlds and try to make something more, be better, be stronger. Taking the American aspects of being loud, vocal, taking initiative, action, the cowboy route, that doesn't make you less Asian. It just doesn't. But somewhere along the line, we lost that concept, and the problem with Asians is we like to stay in line the most. I'm sorry, that just doesn't work. How has that worked out for us so far? Being steamrolled by these fucking animals out there and their supporters? So when push comes to shove, don't try to beg, don't try to plead, get on the rooftops, aim for center mass, right? And here's the thing, with respect to the police officers, if you're a blue state or city cop and you're ordered to stand down, like they did with Los Angeles during the 1992 riots, if you're ordered to stand down, you will have, you know, a lot of these BLM, you know, dumb savages that are out there, like, they love to say, oh, police brutality, police brutality. Okay, let me break it down to you like this. You think the police are brutal? Do you have any idea what a pissed off Korean is capable of on a rooftop? You fucking savages. You dumb fucking animals. Every last one of you. So yeah, stop going the nice route. Get on the rooftop, shoot if necessary, because fuck them. Does that sound hateful? I don't give a fuck, right? So by the way, speaking of police brutality, it's funny when black liberals are always like, oh, the police are after us, police are after us. Isn't it funny how you also conveniently forget to mention what the Asian crime rates are? Why do you think the police don't go after us? You think it's somehow connected to the fact that Asians statistically also, even without adjusting for population, we just don't commit crime? You want to hear a fun fact? The black community is 13%, and when you include men and women, they're 13% of the US population. Statistically, they're responsible for more than 50% of the violent crime. Here's the thing, when conservatives tout that statistic, that's us being generous. You have to cut that by half, because when you factor in testosterone, and the fact that testosterone accounts for aggression, when you factor in testosterone and the fact that men are overwhelmingly the violent criminals in almost all the cases, you have to cut that by half to get rid of the women. So you're really left with about 5-6%. Okay, cut that, you gotta shave that down even more, because you gotta get rid of the elderly and the children, because they're not physically capable, right? So you're really left with about 4, maybe 3% of the population committing about 50% of the violent crime. No wonder why the police go after you more than everybody else. It's not a color problem. It's a dumb fucking person problem. And out of those criminals, and those criminals, the crimes, the assault, violent assaults, we know where they're targeting now. We know, don't we? It's us, and it's been us for quite some time. And if you don't think that'll start spreading to the Latino community as well, you're fucking wrong. Just recently, a Latino woman got beat up because she happened to look Asian. I've seen a lot of Latinos and Latinas, you know, that pass for Asian. She got beat up because of that. In Texas, during the height of the George Floyd riots, they try to practice extortion on a Cuban restaurant owner, saying, you're part of gentrification. But the thing is, just until yesterday, gentrification just meant the white people moving into inner cities to set up businesses, but all of a sudden now it includes Cuban people too, right? There is no way to satisfy them, because like I said before, BLM is Marxist. It's not a color problem, it's an anybody more successful than us problem. And the reason why they never want to address that, the reason why Democrats never want to address Asians at all. When's the last time you heard a Democrat, until recently, when's the last time you heard a Democrat address Asian issues? It's always been black and Latino, right? The reason why they never want to talk about Asians is this simple. If you address Asians, you're going to have to address why we're doing so well. If you address why we're doing so well, you're going to have to address that it's cultural. If you address that it's cultural, you're going to have to see why other cultures or people from other cultures are not doing so well. If you do that, you have to figure out what's wrong with that culture that's keeping them from doing so well. If you do that and you look into the black community, you're going to see that culturally, blacks have always voted Democrat and asked for them for help. And then the world will see that the one group that didn't ask for help from the Democrats and depended on them like children were the one group doing better than everybody else. Does that make any fucking sense to you people? Yeah. All right, I've cussed enough. Your children are scarred. And my point is this. If there's one thing I want to leave you with, for the Asian Americans out there, especially the young ones who are around my age, and I'm really young, let me look around. Learn to speak up, whether that's just on social media or not. That's how I got my start. Look, when I first started this journey just about, 9 months ago, I didn't think I'd be in things like this. I just didn't. And kind of overnight, which is unheard of, if you're not showing your ass and titties on Instagram, you don't just grow this quickly overnight. But overnight, I'm at 15,300 followers, which might not seem like a big number, but again, I did it without showing ass and titties. That's a big thing for Instagram, for those who don't know. Now, the reason why I did what I did was because look, I'm Korean, I'm Asian just like the rest of you. I had the bad habit of sitting, waiting around for someone else to do something like this first, and nobody was doing it. So I finally did it, and now I'm where I'm at. And I started something called the Exit movement. If you guys don't know what that is, Candace Owens started the Flexit movement for black people to stop voting Democrat. Flexit became a thing too. So if you guys follow me on my Instagram, it's The Korean Conservative, exactly how it's spelled. I founded the Exit movement, which is Blexit is the black exit from the Democratic Party. Lexit is the Latino exit. It's based off of Brexit, which is Britain moving away from communist Europe. So Axit is the Asian exit from the Democratic Party, right? So if you go to my Instagram, you can find the link to the Axit movement. Share your conservative or libertarian, because that's enough to be called a Nazi these days. Share your conservative journey as an Asian American on that page. Right now, that's the only page where people can congregate to do that. We've made friends there, we've made colleagues there. It's going to be great. But that's just a platform for you to start speaking up. Later on, you're able to.
I didn't know there were
to do this
Asian liberals. I thought that was crazy.
It's got to start somewhere. Start speaking up. If you can't be a root Korean person like Tony Moon, be a root Korean.
Tony Moon.
We lost that along the way. It doesn't have to be like that. All right, guys.
Thank you, Daniel. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, man.
People said,
Appreciate
"Are you sure you're going to invite this guy?" And I'm really glad I did. Please give him
the
another
conservative.
hand of applause.
The conservative Korean. Go ahead and check him out, man. I like what he has to say. Yeah.
Thank you for your endurance.
It doesn't always sound good, does it?
Sorry.
But it sounded good.
So let me start off by saying that all hate should be condemned. Hate attacks on any American city or citizen should be condemned. If someone says stop
check
Asian
out.
hate, I have a different view on that.
But
I
I'm
don't
going
mind it,
to.
because if someone on the left or anybody wants to hijack that hashtag, they can. It just brings more awareness to our cause and to crimes against the elderly and the women. But those who say that it's not happening, 4,000 documented attacks on Asian Americans in the past year. Corona has pissed off people looking for a scapegoat, and we are it. That's why we're here. Asians, we've always faced racism. We've overcome it. But now the hate is coming at us, and it's coming at us hard. And we need to be vocal, because enough is enough. I'm going to ask you.
To the Koreans.
I'm
Come
gonna
up,
say
Sida.
Asians are
That's
not
all I know.
victims. We're not looking for handouts. We're not looking for sympathy. We're not looking for pity. We don't want virtue signaling. But a certain portion of our people need support. In certain states and in certain cities. We all know where it's happening. We don't need people to tell us who it's happening by and who's causing it. I want to address another thing here, and a lot of rallies, people don't talk about this enough, is that America is the greatest country in the world, period. It's the greatest country for anyone. It's the greatest country for minorities, especially. We're a collective of nations from around the world. Where can you find that? Name a nation out there that has as many representation as we do in America. In Irvine alone, we have 70 different languages spoken. Where can you find that? Despite the flaws that we have, we're the most tolerant country in the world. 50 million people in America were not even born here. It pains me to see the division and hatred in this country that we have for each other. This is not America. It pains me to see the propaganda that the media has done to us and torn us apart. This is not America. Such a divide between us that we can't even unite to combat hate. That's not the America I wanted. I'm pretty sure that's not the America you wanted either. We got media propaganda all day, every day, especially during these lockdowns. Locked us inside, feeding us, like Method Man said, feeding us, and feeding us. That we don't know what to believe in. We don't know which side to pick. Some of us aren't even able to speak because we're afraid of getting canceled. Propaganda is a powerful tool for controlling us and turning us against each other. We saw it in Nazi Germany, we saw it in China, we saw it in Vietnam, we saw it in Cuba, Venezuela, countless other countries that went to turmoil and despair, and it's happening here. The virus we see in this country is media propaganda.
Yes.
How many times has a close friend of yours or a family member totally shut you out because of your beliefs, your political beliefs? It shouldn't be like that. That's not America. America is about having an individual opinion and being able to express it without fear. I've heard people say that Asians out there are being used by the media, that we're becoming race baiters, that we're fanning and fueling racism. My own friends on the right somehow said that I've been a sympathizer attending rallies. And listen, I'm a self-made man. I don't need anybody to tell me who I am or what I believe in. I fly the flag in front of my house every single day. Not just on the 4th of July. Woo! I proudly fly the flag because it's what it represents to me, which is hope and opportunity. I do that, my neighbors all do that, all races. And for someone to question my patriotism because I stood up for my race is un-American. And it's a part of media manipulation. When was the last time you heard Asians being race baiters?
Never.
When was the last time we were asked for owed equity and handouts from discrimination? Mark?
Never.
Can you remember? When was the last time Asians complained about racism on a grand scale?
Never.
Enough is enough, though, because we're standing up now. It's the media manipulation that says Asians are crybaby snowflakes, because we're not. We're talking about actual crimes committed out there. The left, I've attended these rallies, and they've walked up to me, and they're shocked. They said, "What are you doing here? You don't belong here." "What do you mean I don't belong here? I'm standing up against racism." "But no, you're a conservative. The media has racist." Do I look like a racist? Do I look like a white supremacist? No. It's not just the bias and racism, it's actual attacks we're talking about here. And you might not believe this, but there are many of them. And there's also a great deal of hatred by us and to other minorities. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, we're not all successful and rich as people think. It took hard work to get where we are at in life. Asians aren't innocent either. It's human nature to celebrate victories, but we must remain humble in our successes. Because if not, it leads to narcissism and animosity. I've seen many success stories that came from nothing, and it's easy to be arrogant. Keep yourselves in check as well. I've heard from many politicians here in the crowd, and I have a message to you. If you do not support this kind of movement in your own way, it's going to be lost. I'm not a politician, but I see it. This isn't about hate attacks in Orange County. It's not about hate attacks in Irvine. It's ignoring it is exactly why the outreach and engagement to a younger generation has failed. Ignoring it says to the 50% Asian demographic in Irvine and in the county that you don't care. So start standing up for your people. We need you. We gotta unite and stand, because this isn't a race issue. This is an American issue. This is an issue on our people. This is an attack on Americans. So stand up. That's all I got for you guys.
Thank you, James. Beautiful. I want to underscore what he said about humility. I think our goal is, if you're on the right, we have to bring more people into our corner. And you don't do that by being arrogant. You don't do that by being caustic. And I think we all need to appreciate a little more diversity in thought. I don't need you to be completely in line with me on everything for us to be friends. We can talk about the things we have in common and put aside the things we don't have in common, or respectfully debate it. That's a lost art now. And it doesn't mean that you have to compromise who you are. I think a lot of people who know me and follow me on Facebook know that I have very strong beliefs. But I am not nasty about it, okay? Because if you come to me and you say you disagree, I can say, hey, let's talk about it. Let's debate the finer points. The moment you're like vilifying others for even having a hashtag like Stop Asian Hate, and saying you're weak and you're falling to the left's narrative, which I can't believe. I've dedicated years of my life to conservative activism. Like, how dare you say that to me? That really, that was ridiculous, what the mail that we got for having this event. So I thank you everyone for having an open mind, coming to this event, and to appreciate the diversity in this group. We had, people from the left, people from the right, people from the middle, and I've talked to a lot of people that attended today. It's really beautiful that we come together for this one cause. So I want to end today with my good friend, Pastor Harley, Hansel Harley Ozami, He is a great, great guy, and he's gonna, close us out with a few remarks and a prayer. And I just so appreciate all he does for the community. So thank you, Hansel.
How's it going, everyone? I'm Hansel Arzami. I'm the pastor of Ecclesia Church in Pomona, so not too far away from Orange County. And I just want to say, everyone who spoke up here kind of said everything I wanted to say, especially Daniel, without all the F-bombs and stuff like that. But, I just want to say the media is a terrorist organization, the mainstream media. And I just, in Ephesians 5:11, it says, take no part in unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. And so if I can do my part in exposing the mainstream media as a divider, they want us all to hate each other so that they can control us with their UBI and all that stuff and government programs. I think if we can remove the veil, remove the scales from people's eyes, then we can do way more than all this nonsense combined. We can come against every Marxist organization that there is if we unite together in the faith. And whether we're fighting against Antifa, BLM, whatever, we can do it. And pray for me. My church, we got booted off Instagram. My personal accounts, I got permabanned. Yeah, I can't even live stream, whatever. It's because I'm a Christian and I actually support the Second Amendment. I support self-defense. The Bible, if you read the laws in Exodus, it actually talks about when it's right to have self-defense. We're talking about people exposing lies, you know what I mean? And if we can unite in faith, I think that's an unstoppable voting block that they can't come against. And that's why I got canceled. And I'm not a big, nobody knows me. Nobody knows my church and I got canceled. And so that's pretty much what I wanted to say before I wanted to pray. And one more thing is, uniting is the number one thing, I see a lot of diversity here. If you come visit my church in Pomona, the left wishes they had that diversity. In fact, it's an underground church now that I can't advertise on the internet. And so I invite you guys to come and worship the Lord with us. And that's the key. The Lord is the only one that can break the chains and the lies that the enemy has. The devil is called the father of lies, so CNN is the baby of Satan. And you know what I mean? So if we believe that, let's come against the lies with the truth, and let's go forward like all the speaker says. Let's get loud. Let's go into the public arena. And as Asians, we came here to stop Asian hate. That's easy to stop. If we are confident and we don't take crap from people, and we have the courage to propagate our message, then there will be no Asian hate. And that's what I wanted to say. If you guys can bow your heads with me and take off your hats or your glasses and put your hand over your heart. Father God, we come together today, not only as Asians, but all other races that support not having hate crimes. Father God, we humbly bow ourselves to your power, your strength, and your love. We thank you that you made every single person, no matter what color, you made them in the image of God. And you made provision for us that if any person come against that sacred tradition, because murdering someone that's of another race or hurting them, what they're actually doing is coming against the sacredness of the image, the imago Dei of God in them. And so you made provision in the book of Exodus for self-defense. And so we want to follow your word. We want to follow your will. And so we ask you, Holy Spirit, to be with us as we go. Teach us the right way to live. Teach us to have strategies from heaven to come against these Marxist Satanists. In Jesus' name, whether it be BLM, Antifa, all these other people that actually they admit to having pagan traditions, pagan worship. Father God, we ask you to give us your Holy Spirit power to heal the sick, raise the dead, cast out demons, cleanse the leper, as you taught in Matthew 10. But most of all, let us have the courage of Joshua. No matter how big the enemy is, no matter how big the mainstream media is, no matter how big the institutional left is that controls the judiciary, that controls pretty much everything, including law enforcement at this point, especially here in California. It's a David and Goliath issue, and we are David. Give us the stones to throw into the face of Goliath and bring him down. Get our swords and cut his head off in Jesus' name. Politically. And so we thank you. We thank you that you're going to do that. And we thank you in advance, God, that you are for us and not against us, and that we stand united, not only as Asians of different nationalities, but with all our supporters. And we're going to win this thing no matter what. In Jesus' precious and mighty name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
George, you want to make a quick announcement?
A very quick announcement for April 30th, we have an event to protest the SB 82 in North and South California. In South California, we have the event at 11 to 12 on April 30th on the 145 West Forest Avenue, Arcadia, California. And yeah, if you would like, you can go there. 145 West Forest Avenue, Arcadia. Thank you.
And everyone, we've got lots of food left. So if you have big families, take some a box of Danishes or a box of muffins. And there's also water. So please help yourself. I don't want to take anything home with me. Thank you. And also there's hand sanitizers there that are actually non-alcoholic, and it's really good. So meet me over there and I'll give you one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I'm just sitting down for a while.
Corey.
Yeah.
Good job. Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
How you doing? Oh, I know you.
Yes, I was like, this is the violinist, man. Exactly. I was like,
yeah.
Yes.
We gotta go to the movies again.
Yes.
How are you guys doing?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I like that.
You're famous. I'm just gonna say he's famous. I know. I grew up around the time, and he was up on the roof. He was one of the Koreans. The OG Koreans is up there protecting businesses. Thanks for coming up. Yes, for reals.
Hey, he's gonna be on the show. Oh yeah, I totally wasn't.
So you have a show? You have a podcast?
Yeah. So it's on my channel, We Are LA, and it's called the People's Forum. So we have liberals, conservatives, everybody on the channel. I like all different.
Support America.
Yeah.
Support Tin Horn Flats. Yeah. Against the real racists, the ones that used to attack us, the real ones. Study some history. Why was there gang violence? They were created from protection groups because we had to click together to protect against attackers. Those were the Democrats telling us to go back where you came from, pulling guns on us, saying "fuck you, Chino." Guess who that is? The Democrats. Oh, but we're not a Democrat anymore, right? All of a sudden, 2016, we're not Democrats, but you still push the same, victimization. So, be aware of them. Be aware of your enemies.
All right. My wife's name is Heidi-Vea. Oh, absolutely. Yes, we got booted from Facebook, so we should be We Are the News. You're welcome.
Are you on YouTube? Or?
Yes. So it's my wife's name, Heidi.
No. Can you say it for everybody?
Oh, yeah. Oh gosh, Heidi. Last name Vea. And we're on YouTube. We've been doing this for a long time. But we would like to hear voices of people who are, especially conservative, because we want to conserve a lot of these ideals that made America what it is today. So yeah, so we're and that includes, yes, Stop Asian Hate. We all about like NVA, guys. Why are you guys exploiting yes?
No hate
this is yes, this is wrong. They're exploiting. They're exploiting. Yeah, but I'm I used to be a Laker fan. I used to be. Huge Laker fan.
Hey, man,
The glory days.
I can't leave my Lakers.
No, exactly. It's very difficult. But I mean, you got to look at Nike. You got to look at Nike. Nike's.
Let me get that picture.
What? I'm sorry. One. I got. It's just always.
So we're on 3, 2, and 1. There you go.
Thank you. What's your name again?
Clear.
Claire.
Solid conservative.
We used to be the letter R, the news, and we can still be found on like Telegram and stuff like that. But they booted us from Facebook. But thanks a lot for what you're doing, because you're out here covering as well. And I got your shirt, bro. I gave you. I showed everybody because you're out here, dude. I like what you're doing, man.
Let me get this real quick.
Gotcha.
Hey guys, after this, I'm gonna get out the 10 orange flags, man.
Oh, I'm gonna get in this picture. Is that okay?
Come over, everybody.
Wait, everybody get in here. We got more people coming.
More people coming. We got room right here.
Let's stay in the back.
Oh, come in. You're,
no, because there's smaller people.
You're speaking, though.
That's amazing stereotype.
Stop the hate. Stop the hate.
Close tight.
Closer.
Come closer.
Closer.
You gotta get closer.
The first of many.
And then some of the photographers come on in.
Photographers, come on in.
Yeah. Come on, photographers.
No, don't worry. Stay there. I'm gonna get this picture.
Cody, I want you in the photo.
Great again.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, this is very successful. All of these people here came together to basically say, hey, come on, guys, enough is enough, okay? We see what's going on. There's a narrative. There's people that speak to a narrative, and you know what? And there's others like myself who are calling it bullshit, okay? But I love even what the conservative Korean said. I love what he had to say about this. He was very frank and very open about what's going on. And then this guy James here. James was cool. I love what he had to say. I'm gonna get me some snackage because you know what? He can't take this home, he said. So I gotta empty out the box, man. I gotta help myself. Hey guys, I appreciate you joining. We'll see what's going on. Oh. Thank you.
I've been back many times in front of the house. They feel the pain. They will drop the bill right away.
Whose house is it?
Ed Chow.
And who is he?
Ed Chow.
Assemblyman.
Assemblyman who brought forward the bill, SB 82. Yes, in Arcadia.
Okay, the author of SB 82, the lady called Nancy Skinner, she lived in North California, Berkeley.
Okay.
We could not fight there. So we strongly, together with the San Francisco group, local, they go to her office because the DA even against the SB 82. So due to have political people attending the event, so they cannot go to her house. So we train the pen to go to her office. But for us of experience, go to those political issue people's office, they don't feel the pain.
No, go their home.
Experience, go to David Chu's house.
Yes.
And he changed the bill right away. It works. They might The bill might be there, but at least they drop it. They change the name, change a little in white, element.
Because the people are
right.
yelling back.
Are
saying
yelling
we
back
don't
at
like
them.
it, and that's what they're supposed to do.
Right. They have to peel the faith. They
have to listen to us.
They have to listen to us. And this go to his house, not really against his personal. I really want to say that. Otherwise, the people look like, oh, this is not polite. There's nothing about polite.
Yes,
Polite.
it's not about being polite anymore. Nope. Nope.
Now we learn. Yeah, he worked for us. He speak for us. He had to speak for us. He cannot vote neutral. He vote neutral is waste our power.
Yes.
Waste our
Yes.
energy to
Act.
You have
Do
to
not
act.
make a
Either
choice.
vote yes or no. Don't
Yes.
vote neutral.
Yeah.
Neutral is more worse. It's more dangerous because the people think, oh, he's nice. Vote neutral. Wrong.
No.
Vote neutral is worse than vote no.
The time for being nice is done.
Right.
Now it's time to go and at least we're peacefully protest in front of his house. Bring your megaphones though, right? Wake him up. Wake him up.
We have microphone. We continuing.
Yes.
No.
I like this lady. What's your name?
Nancy.
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 This is Nancy from Nancy from Redondo. She's rad. She's rad. She's come out here and she does her thing.
California. Great American again.
Make America great again.
China.
Okay.
China, the communist country, we experienced the bad experience of the communists. They control. They only one sound. You cannot speak any other thing, and we don't want that. We want our freedom. We come to America to seek our freedom. We got it. We don't want the bad people ruin it. We want to keep American great. We keep the freedom of speech, and the nation of peaceful.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see you then. Very much.
Boss, I appreciate what you had to say, dude. That's powerful. Thank you very much. I like you. Okay. I think we're going to wrap this up, so thanks for joining us today. Again, we've talked to him. He's had a lot to say already. We can talk. I mean, I appreciate that the next event. You have anything planned coming up? Because you're.
Oh yeah, thanks for covering this. Yeah, we're just gonna keep doing more events like this. Our programming for our organization is always a mixed bag of different things, mostly educating the community. So my next event is this coming Wednesday, where we're actually going to dive deep into the COVID farce. A lot of the things the lies that have been put out about the vaccines, and we're going to have a health expert that's actually one of our members, Mike Castano. He's going to talk at a lunch about how he recovered from COVID. So he got it, and none of this involved medications, even though he has an autoimmune disease.
Wow.
And
so he's one of the risky. It was risk
he was in the risk factor.
Okay.
And also as diabetic as well.
Wow.
So it goes to show that automatically putting people on ventilators is causing certain deaths, and we're not afraid to expose those truths. So come join us on Wednesday, the 21st, at 12 p.m. in Ontario, and it will be at Ultra Chem Labs, and we're going to be talking about this and also other green solutions for your home and all of that. So
your website, how can they follow you if they want to know what's going on?
AIB2B.org, and then also on Facebook you can follow us as Asian Industry B2B, and also on Twitter at Asian IB2B, and just follow us there and you can see all our events, and Instagram Asian Industry B2B. So once you're in seeing our events, just come. A lot of our events are open to the public, but we also have member-only events, and we're doing a great one for members on May 11th about China and exposing the CCP. So the CCP is very infiltrated into all areas of American life right now, and you don't know it. Down to your security cameras for your home. So we're going to have a speaker named Wen Chen. She's going to come and talk about it, and we're also going to do a movie screening of Free China, which is a very powerful movie. So lots of things going on.
This guy has some cool
He's got
events.
we've been to many of his events.
And I'm like, I appreciate it. You're such a patriot. And you work so hard.
You work so hard to bring truth to everybody.
You guys are amazing to get the word out, and it's a team effort.
Yes,
You got to educate the community.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you again. Okay, we look forward. Oh.
Keep the camera though.
Sure, of course. I want to say bye-bye.
Yeah.
Heidi, come on inside.
All right, cheers.
And then can you kindly take one of me and her?
Yes.
Beautiful. And Crystal, don't be shy. Get some Thank you so much.
Looks good. I'm helping the gentleman try to kind of get
Well, I'm going to help myself to some blueberry streusel. Thank you very much.
And where's the date? I didn't see date.
Oh.
blueberry strudel muffin.
You know what?
I didn't see express date.
One of
It's fine. No, I'm going to take this. I can still toast this. Heidi?
Where's the express date?
Expiration? I don't.
expiration date?
Yeah, I didn't.
We're going. You know, this was donated by the mansion.
Okay, there we go. What a fantastic day. We're here at the Irvine City Hall. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you guys go out there and spread truth. Don't sit on it, okay? It's like we all can sit in our, if you're sitting in your room and you're sharing it online and you're pushing the envelope trying to get your Facebook, your Twitter account, whatever it is banned, then cool. But if you're not doing anything, guys, come on, do something. Do something. Thanks so much. These guys are all activists. They're active. They're all. And then we got these guys right here. Conservative Korean. Man, okay. We've seen enough. Thank you very much. You guys have a great, fantastic Saturday. And got any final words? Hey.
That was a really cool event, really good speakers, and the conservative Korean I was laughing the whole time.
Yes.
Because people speak like that, speak so boldly, so that was really cool. We met a lot of these are the most hardcore Asian patriots in Southern California. These people here right
there's
now.
there's more, but these are some of the best.
Some of the most hardcore, and it's because they know what it's like to live in a communist country. They see the blessings of being an American citizen, and they don't want, you heard all their testimonies, they don't want to see this country change, and they can't stand Joe Biden. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. I hope you were entertained, and I hope you learned something, and join us again.